Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome to another session. This one is going to be my first recorded podcast session that I'm actually going to put live on YouTube. So if you're watching me or listening or tuning in for the first time, welcome so much. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Rylee June. I am a psychic medium, conscious leader, and spiritual mentor. I have been helping women across the world by the hundreds and the thousands for the last 5 years now, 4.5 years, going on 5 years, to activate and tune into their intuition, to learn their energy, to read the own map that is themselves, to be able to open up the divine book of you. Because this world that we live in is an illusion. This world that we live in is a fractionalized perception of a multitude of realities. And we have this ability to select different timelines and experiences constantly. But because of our programs and our conditions and our limited beliefs and our, someone argued, the misunderstanding of the subconscious mind, we operate from different levels of programming. So where we heal one experience in our life, it opens up space for another one to be able to come through, something deeper, something that's more embedded within what you just navigated and dealt with. And so that's what I help people to do. And the term connect your intuition and activate your intuition and lean and use your intuition is a really big trendy word that's being used in the spiritual realms and the communities nowadays. But what I help people to do is understand how they communicate, not teaching them how to communicate like I do, because we all listen to, understand, connect with our intuition in a very vastly different way. And if you're learning how to connect with your intuition based on how somebody else is doing it, it's not going to serve you to the greatest extent and ability that you can then learn and utilize for yourself. There are some basic principles and tools that you can absolutely utilize and lean on that are indicative to helping a vast majority of people. But when it really comes to being able to navigate yourself, to understand your own connection, to be able to intuitively tune into your life at any given moment with a knowing that, oh, that's what that is. That's what I feel. That's what I see. That's what I experience. This is the difference between reality, subconscious programming, and futuristic intuition. So what I help people to do is through a series of trainings, courses, webinars, different levels of workshops, and even my social media content and stuff. I help people to really be able to connect to deeper levels of questions, because the questions are what allows you to go deeper within yourself. Whether that's, why is the sky blue? It's like, why does the sky feel blue? And you'd think that's a very mundane question, or that doesn't really make sense. But if you sit with it, you're going to be what's the word I want to use here? You're going to be kind of shocked, I guess is the best way to describe it. You're going to be shocked at the way that those two questions sit differently within yourself. Because what we're learning to do is to come out of our mind, which is where our past lies. So our brain absorbs everything that we take in, that we can conceptualize, that we can perceive, that we can understand. It takes it in and it stores it. And that's what allows us to create the behaviors and the attitudes and the belief systems and the ways that we react to different experiences. It creates our personality, and our personality creates a personal reality. And so your intuition is outside of that. It is the world in which is just solely energy and information. And because of your perception, behaviors, and beliefs and memory, you then adjust, adopt, and take in whatever it is in the energy field around you. And you feel and see and hear and sense things differently. So when we learn to take ourselves out of our mind and to tune into our intuition more often than not, we recognize that the world is actually very neutral around us. And this allows people to then be able to select different timelines, different experiences, different opportunities for themselves. It's easy to tell someone to choose again, but if they're conditioned and they're ingrained to their behaviors and have no idea how to navigate and understand their behaviors, or where they came from, or where they stemmed from, or why they navigate, or how they control your reality, telling someone to choose again isn't the answer to help them solve their problem. But teaching them how to understand their intuition for themselves, their energy for themselves is. Because then when that behavior comes up, the reaction that comes up, that attitude comes up, that experience comes up, they can then see and lean on a different set of sensations that is just solely energy and information. and they're neutral to the circumstance in which they're then presented with. So that reflected mirror, the experience mirroring back to them what they're needing to learn and see for themselves, is a lot easier and clearer for them to navigate because they have a different set of understanding, tools, and energy to be able to lean on and read that is completely different than what a lot of our reality knows and understands today. And I've worked with a multitude of psychologists and doctors and nurses who I've taught this type of training to, that have found it incredibly helpful. And in some cases, some have even said to be more helpful than what they've learned in school, because they are working with people hands-on. They're working with energy hands-on and not ever being taught about the energetics of what they're doing. They try to work with their logical mind, all the definitions and the steps and the protocols, which are important, but aren't necessarily what's going to help that person then right in front of them. Because sometimes the protocol isn't the answer. And most times the energy is what's going to allow you to bring up the protocol that you might have to start at step 3 to go to 1 to go to 5, where this other client, this other patient was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So learning your energy, learning how to read energy, learning how to navigate your own intuition is a very powerful tool and asset in not only the work in which you'll do in this environment, but bringing through who you're meant to be, bringing up to be able to read the divine book of you, your own soul manifesto. That is the path, the chosen experiences, and the higher timelines available and open to you for your choosing. So that is what I do. And I'm very grateful for tuning in for the first time together to be connected with you. And today, what I'm going to be doing in this session with you is I want to talk for a moment about the 5-day free webinar series, Finding Self, Moving Beyond COVID, that I'm going to be hosting from May 17th to the 21st. And then I'm going to channel a message from my future self, 5 years in the future from today. And I'm going to allow her to speak through me and to share with you what to expect, what's unfolded, where we are. Because when we're in the thick of things, when we're in the struggle, when we're having a hard time seeing beyond even, half of the day ahead of us, it can be very difficult and strenuous to ever think that, oh, I just need a vision. I need to, I need hope, or I need faith. It's hard to have that when you're in the thick of things. And it's even more difficult to create the space for that when you're really navigating something challenging. And in our world today, no matter where you're at and what you stand for, where your belief system is, there's something, if not now, in the future that will challenge you, that you'll face a struggle within. And so this message is going to be a reminder that when we're in it, it's hard to see outside of it. But when you can allow yourself to lean into and speak through your intuition, your energy, it's easier to zoom out from the bigger picture, because what is right now the day to day to day to week to maybe even month life and reality that you're facing, that's not the higher timeline. Because a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, you are going to be a different person inevitably. Just like if you look back to 5 years from today, right now, you're very likely a completely different person. Maybe some of your circumstances haven't changed. Maybe some of your situations continue to repeat themselves over and over again, where you keep facing the same thing. Well, the reason you keep facing the same thing is because there's something unrecognized within yourself. There's something, your intuition, the energy outside of you. Remember, it's all just information, is reflecting back to you. And because we're trying to fix the thing outside of us, we've forgotten that the thing that isn't broken is ourself, but the thing that needs the most attention is ourselves. And that is what shifts your reality. That is how you shift your behaviors, your understandings, your belief systems, your experience, and it changes your personality, because now you're a different person, seeing the world in a different way, and your perceptions are a little bit different, maybe more open and vast. And you're leaning in with a curiosity versus this linear focus of like, I got to do this way right now, somehow, let's do it. Right? So I'm going to be channeling a message for my future self to really help us bring some collective understanding about what this world is going to present for us in these next coming 5 years, because there's a lot of fear propagated and projected on us right now. No matter where in the world you lie, you're seeing it, and you're likely maybe even someone who's watching Canada to see what we do. Because I am from Alberta, Canada, and right now I would even refer to us as China, Canada, because we have some of the most ridiculous restrictions and secretive legislations and injunctions that are getting passed overnight in our province and in our country. And so I felt that this would be extremely helpful for anyone who is in my surrounding area, who can really use a light of hope right now. And if you're anywhere else in the globe as well, you would likely love to have some sense of hope for the future and what it presents to us. So that is what this message is going to be all about. So thank you so much for tuning in and joining me today. And if you are watching this on YouTube or you are following along with the podcast, you can come and find me on social media. I'm typically on Instagram most of the time at Rylee June, Rylee. June is in the month. And I share lots of tips and tools and deep reflections and experiences through my stories and my Facebook feed, where you can dive into a lot of beautiful content just for you. So I want to start off with my 5-day webinar series. And so this 5-day webinar series is all about helping you find yourself. It's all about helping you find yourself so that you can understand how to move beyond COVID. Because in this world in which we live right now, it doesn't matter where you live, it's a word that's being thrown around a lot. And when I say thrown around, I mean to the degree where at this point, our dictatorships are trying to figure out where it's going to stick. This, it's got to pay attention to it. And I really want to be mindful of how many times I use that word. So I'm going to call it this. No, I'm going to call it the boogeyman. Okay. So I'm going to call the C word the boogeyman, because we all know how censorship works nowadays. So I really wanted to create this webinar because there are so many people who are loading up my DMs with a very similar question, and it's, how do I find hope for the future? How do I know that the effort that I'm putting in today is going to help me or is going to help the world move beyond this? How do I know that this is going to go away? How do I know that this is going to be okay? What can I do? What can I do right now? That's the biggest one. What can I do right now? And so this 5-day series is really going to help you to learn how to validate your experience. Because in order for us to get beyond, in order for us to shift 1 degree at a time, in order for us to get into a bigger vision of hope and possibility for the future, even 2 years or a year down the road from where we are today, we have to learn how to validate ourselves. We have to learn how to recognize what it is we're actually feeling, because within us is a wounded version of us, whether that's you at 20 or 15 or 12 or 8 or 7 or 3 or 2 or 1, maybe just being born, that's just crying out for attention, that needs you to tune in and just coddle and nurture that version of you who's just crying from within. And so then on the surface, we feel unvalidated, we feel unworthy, we feel indefense, we feel unsafe, we feel like there's so many external things now then fueling this vibration of what we're attracting and experiencing in our external reality, when in the midst of it was just a version of you who was speaking through you, needing some attention. And so when we don't allow ourselves to validate the experience in which we are having, whether you're pissed about something or you're depressed about something or you're genuinely upset about something, and we're trying to change the way we're seeing that, we're trying to change the emotion without actually just addressing and nurturing it, we skip over a really beautiful opportunity for us to be able to feel. And then we develop a sense of numbness. And then it fuels a state of depression because we don't know why we don't feel, and we don't know, why we feel more of one thing predominantly, and we get caught up in, plugging into everything outside of us like a zombie. And then it's like, I don't even know what to do with myself. And you just sit there with, a blank stare on your face. And I know this because I've dealt with this, and I also help people deal with this. And this is a big part of why working and understanding your energy is so important. Because you can recognize these things as you go through them, so you don't get to the point where you feel like a zombie, right? So we have the boogeyman in the world, and the boogeyman's gonna get you, so they say. And this isn't an episode or a series on statistics. This is not an episode or series on breaking down the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, though it's interesting how that's the thing that gets so overlooked and is controversial now. This isn't an episode or a series on, how to do what's right. This is an episode on how to find yourself, how to navigate the pressures of the world, how to allow yourself to sit in your own beliefs and decisions and let it be okay. Allowing yourself to validate what you're experiencing, how to take self-responsibility and accountability, how to set boundaries around this new level of self-awareness that you are cultivating and creating, how to understand some of the basic principles of your energy. So we're going to go into the clairempathic sense. So that's when you're feeling other people's emotions. This is something that we're all very much a zombie to right now, because we have everybody else's emotions and stuff plugged into our own self, where we're having the hardest time even navigating who we are and what we're feeling, because we're just a compilation of everybody else. So we're going to tune into that sensation. And I'm going to help you by the 5th day to tune back into a bigger sense of hope and faith. Now, your faith can be anything for you. I'm going to reference God and source, but you can plug that in for what it is to you. I'm not here to sway your belief system. I am here to help you to find and navigate your own belief system. And that's what's important in all of this. So this 5-day series is going to help you to tune into that, uncover that, find solace within that, and to create your action plan of what your 1 degree shift at a time out of where you are today is. So if you're dealing with anything, maybe it's not the boogeyman that you're afraid of, but it's something else. Or in the future, this becomes a reference to you. This is going to help you to move through the path, through the patterns, through the experience of uncovering and essentially soul coaching yourself. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to know all the things about energy. You could even be just new to this experience and the introductory of it. And this will still be extremely beneficial for you, because I'm going to break it down in a way where it's very easily digestible, very simple to be able to take in, and not a whole lot of assignments, because this is really about you finding yourself. This isn't about homework, though there'll be 2 assignments that you'll have throughout the 5-day series. These aren't long, extensive things, and they can be done with a family. So if you have kids, then you can very much incorporate them in the assignments that are going to be divinely assigned to you. So the link will be in the show notes or below this as well if you'd like to sign up. I'm going to be doing a $50 giveaway to those who participate and join us. You don't have to be there for it live. There will be a replay that goes out for an additional week that will stay open. Each session will be about an hour and 15 long, and they will be at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time every day from the 17th to the 21st. If you are open and available to it, me and a beautiful friend who's going to be guest mentoring on day 2, Chloe Angeline, are raising money for a single mama. Now, the webinar is completely free. You can send your prayers, and that is more than enough as well. But if you have something that you're able to give, then Chloe is accepting donations for a single mama who's really needing some help right now. And again, for attending, there's a $50 giveaway for an Amazon gift card as well. So not only do you gain a whole lot of insight, value, training, tips, tools, and a beautiful, sacred, safe space for you to be able to come into yourself, find yourself, and be with yourself. And there's no judgment here. So it doesn't matter what side of the whatever you're picking up this time. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. This whole thing is about finding you. And that's what's most important. So you can come, you can get free training, free spirits coming in, free training, a free awakening and activation, learn more about your energy, learn more about who you are and what you're navigating, why you're navigating it from a space of energy and information. There's giveaway prizes, and you're also being a part of a beautiful cause. So the link to enroll is going to be in the show notes, and I really truly hope to see you there. Right. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to get prepared. I'm not going to cut any of this stuff out. This is going to be a edited raw video. I'm already being told I need water, because it's really important for us to see that our attention span does not need to be 30 seconds or less. All right, so I am going to get into my channel, into my energy. And I'm going to begin to channel a message for my future self from today in 2026. You woke up today in your newly built house 2 years prior. The birds in the birdhouses outside singing through the trees and the sky dancing with each other. The sun's rising. The supply chains have all restored themselves. The people took over. They opened up free markets, freshly grown vegetables and plants and trees. They found new ways to harbor and move through the climate changes with greater ease. And you're alive. And you're looking out the window with a great sense of gratitude as the emotions bubble up in your eyes. Because you made it through. And not only did you make it through, but you helped others make it through too. And that makes this morning in particular so much special as your husband comes up behind you and hands you a hot pot of coffee. A hot cup of coffee, Four Sigmatic, mushroom blend. You've stepped fully into a healthy, balanced, sustainable lifestyle where everything you eat is grown from your garden. And so many people are doing the same too. They've reconnected to Mother Nature. They've reconnected to the plants and to the earth. Energy is not taboo. Your work is not of witchcraft. It is of what, at this point, millions have sought out. Because it works. Because it helps. Because it is what shone the light on all of the darkness in the world. Millions upon millions of children were saved, rescued by communities going after the people who were hiding children away. Violence was incited. Some cities were burned down. But in the midst of things, people came together when the ashes lay on the ground and held hands, and they prayed and they sang. Because people turned into their faith. Those who are lost with destruction and money and greed and worry and misunderstandings, they turn to their faith through themselves. And that vibration cannot be stricken away. It blanketed the world with such love and compassion that it didn't matter who got a shot in the arm or not. Everyone was hand in hand around the ashes that lay on the ground in cities. Military systems were switched out. The entire world gained a global newspaper that everyone was able to read, but this time with the truth. Because the citizens took back the responsibility of the globe. And the elites and those in charge with disguises and masks on their face were put into jails and prison sentences, and some even stoned in the street. And it's harsh, and it's abrasive, but people had enough. Now you're living 2 years outside of that, and there's nothing but hope and love. The world banks recorrected themselves, and money flowed to the citizens and to those of the poorest nations and experiences to help them to recorrect their lives, to help them to recorrect what had been done to them. Harm done unto them was recorrected in time. And there's no more battles for rights. Everyone on this day has a calming sense of peace of mind, like the bombs that have exploded the towns and cities before are no longer being heard in the distance, but this time just an eerie ringing of the past that has now been overcome. One for the history books, they said. Though they had no idea what was truly going to be written on those pages yet. Tales of people being split in the street, families torn away from each other with ease, all because of manipulation. MK Ultra hadn't finished its course. It ended in 2023 when someone found the hidden laboratories underground and set fire to the governmental experiments. The programs were shut down. The global newsletter, the citizens are out seeking those who survived, those who are somewhere else hidden in time. They're getting ready to launch teleportation and time travel now. People discovered this in the labs underground that were hidden from the people on the surface. Millions more people lived underneath the surface that now have come to the light. And we share this globe so eloquently with each other, with compassion and love in mind. Homes that we repossessed or lost were gifted to people in poverty communities, in some places even restored to the families that lost them to start. The food on the shelves are not as expensive. People eat less because they see the value in nutrition. People seek less comfort in the worldly things because they have their faith to tune into every day. They found hope. They found life. And you helped with that in a big way on stages, in webinar series that were streamed to millions, picked up by great names and people who found your work, so that you can teach the world on a bigger stage how this all works. This world was always an illusion that we knew. But deep inside, something else told us we knew differently. And we couldn't see the truth. And the truth wasn't in one specific document. We found that out, that's true. It was in a multitude of people coming together from all different backgrounds to bring their knowledge, insight, information, and channeled downloads. And that's what we were always meant to do. Science is a totally different thing nowadays, while people are channeling in new ways of creating life around us. Doctors in medicine, they know of your work, they know of this work, and they integrate it and they help people. Because it's in the quantum energy that really truly heals. It's within Jesus that really truly heals.